Now then, boys and girls. The reckoning was long anticipated, but is it worth the hype? It could be viewed as a rise and fall, or even a chronicle of his abuse. This is all framed by an interview with real-life journalist Dan Davis, played by a superb Mark Stanley. It starts in swinging 60s Manchester clubland. Savile was an incredibly successful club DJ, and the first superstar DJ, according to the Essential book, Last Night a DJ Saved My Life. In the first episode, we see him and his right-hand man, Ray Terrett, pick out teenage girls. Their foray in minor league radio. Second episode, Jimmy goes solo, and he becomes a household name, fronting Top of the Pops. Third episode is him worming his way into knighthood and crimes in Stoke Mandeville Hospital. Fourth and final part is his limbo years, where he became regarded as a sad bastard, his sycophantic police interview, and inevitable death. So what's good about The Reckoning? Steve Coogan was rightly nominated for a BAFTA for his portrayal of Savile. He could have easily drifted into a bad spitting image impression. Jimmy was larger than life, and Coogan makes the unbelievable seem real, capturing the sinister psychopathy of his persona. Let's not forget the supporting cast. Standouts include Robert Emms as Ray Ugly Terrett, Siobhan Finneran as Beryl, and the aforementioned Mark Stanley as Dan Davis. The film was produced by ITV Studios and has high production values, using filters and good set design to capture the murky past, and attention to detail to recreate his Leeds penthouse apartment. The series is also respectful, and given the subject matter, could be a lot more salacious than it is. Bad points. There are points where Steve Coogan breaks character. As a fan of his, you can see some of his regular mannerisms, a petty criticism but a valid one. There's the change of names and events, which are more significant given it's a docudrama. Claire McAlpin became national news after committing suicide aged just 15, after being abused by Savile, and she has a complete change of appearance and ethnicity for unknown reasons. Duncroft is also named Elmwoods, despite the school closing in 1981. Viewers will know it's modelled on Duncroft, so much so they could have used a sound-alike, like Doomcroft or even Lara Croft. The use of real victims being interviewed, often at the start of each episode, would have been better used at the very end of the last episode. I know their experiences are important and need to be told, but as a piece of drama, they slow down the pacing. It makes the actual drama feel disjointed. It's about 4 hours long, so it can't cover everything, but it misses some key things. There's no mention of his significant appearance on When Louis Met, an event that brought him back into the spotlight to a whole new generation as a creepy, dangerous shadow figure. Instead, we have a mention of his ill-fated appearance on Celebrity Big Brother alongside Michael Barrymore, and there were still bigger low points to come for the series. Barely a mention of his relationship with Peter Giaconelli, the ice cream king of Scarborough, glossing over the fact they were gay lovers. The Reckoning instead goes for a bromance angle. Also, no mention of him being a gerontophile. Still, as Sir Jimmy might say, there's only so much you can fit in. Plus, he doesn't dress as a fucking womble. We see acts of his abuse, including snatching girls and other harrowing scenes, making The Reckoning appear a bit like a Shudder original horror film. He appears more like Norman Bates than, say, Jimmy Savile. The Reckoning is a worthy, important docudrama that isn't quite as good as I wanted it to be, but nevertheless, it's one of the more interesting dramas in the last few years. And I can't deny the sheer joy of seeing Coogan give effed up one-liners like the one in this clip, bottling the sheer malevolent essence of Savile in a few seconds.
Better in what way?
Well, some women like a fellow with a bit more lead in his pencil.
Like Savile's life, it leaves us with more questions than answers. Plus, they made the wise decision of keeping it short. Had it been a Netflix series like Squid Games that runs and runs and runs, it would have less impact than a marshmallow baseball bat, and for that we can be thankful for. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought, and if you haven't, let me know if you're going to watch it.